Hello again, everybody. This is Dad Smackason, bringing you another Super Bowl tip from your friends at Smackason's Gourmet Sauces and Spice Rubs. Well, the game is just around the corner in a couple of days, and as you can see, my team's not in it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy good food and cheer while watching the game. Now, lots of people like wings. I like wings. But if you're having a Super Bowl party on a budget, you can still make it as flavorful, as tasty as possible for a little bit of money. I like to use chicken drumettes. Chicken drumettes are actually about 65% less than wings. You can serve your guests a lot of them, good flavor, because fat equals flavor, and everybody has a great time. I kind of look at chicken drumsticks as the girl you ignored in high school, and you see her a couple of years later, you go, wow. Anyway, so you want to start off by making sure your wings are dry and unthawed. If you're using thawed or fresh, it doesn't matter. People will wash poultry off and they'll leave it, wet as a sponge. They'll put their spices on there and the spices slide right off. The third thing is an acronym, STT. Seasoning, time, and temperature. If you got the right seasoning, if you take your wings out of the refrigerator and put them right in the grease, that's no good. You should at least let your poultry get up to room temperature about 30 minutes, no more, no less, before you put it in the grease. Let's talk about the oil that you use. The oil should be 165 degrees. Good idea to get a temperature thermometer. You can get one analog or digital. I use a digital to make sure that my oil is 365 degrees. You're assured to get a nice crispy skin at 365. Also, your expensive poultry won't burn. So, we use one of our signature spices. We're going to use the ancho, which is our mild this time. And what I like about the ancho, it is a mild spice, and then once we put one of our sauces on there, we can make it as hot as we like. So you can accommodate all your guests with these flavors. So we're going to pat these dry. We're going to put some seasoning on them. We're going to let it sit for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to go over and fry up some of these drumettes. We'll see you in a couple of seconds. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes, and as you can see that my drumsticks are seasoned, and they've been sitting on my counter for about 30 minutes. I have a digital thermometer, and remember, when you cook any poultry, you should cook it until the internal temperature is 165 degrees to make sure that it's safe. Don't stick it so it touches a bone. It has to go through the middle of the meat and 165 degrees to make sure that your guests have a pleasurable and safe bite of food. And remember, your vegetable oil, whatever you use, 365 degrees. That would ensure even cooking and that your poultry doesn't burn. So we're going to get our oil up to temperature, and we're going to drop some in the grease, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you do while they're cooking. Okay, our oil is at 365 degrees, and we don't use any flour for this particular recipe, and we drop it right in and it starts to cook. And of course, whenever you're dealing with hot oils, be careful is that you take the poultry and place it away from you and away from your face. You can't see it on camera, but I've got the handle pointed away from the stove in case someone walks by or you have a oops moment. So we're going to let those sit there and fry. And I try to rotate these every 2 or 3 minutes. Now, a lot of people will tell you I don't touch the chicken, and if it was a deep fryer, that would be probably correct. But because I'm only using a couple of inches of grease, you want to turn it every couple of minutes so it has a nice even coating, that the chicken will be cooked completely throughout, and it makes a nice presentation for your guests. That's one of the reasons why for this particular recipe I don't use any flour, because if you do it right, it's going to have that nice golden brown color. The skin will crisp up, and it'll look as if you have some batter on it, but it doesn't have anything like that. All right, so we're going to let these cook a little bit. We're going to turn them. Once they're done, we'll show you how to finish them up. Okay, some of my drumsticks are out of the oven, drumettes, how we want to call it. And we're going to finish them real simply because they're hot. We're going to paint them with some of our Smackason gourmet pepper sauce. The beautiful thing about any sort of protein, it will draw the juices back into it while it's still warm when you first take it out of the grease or the oven, what have you. So be sure, as soon as you get them out of the grease, put them on something to drain, a wire rack like I have, or you can take some paper towels. That's not my preferable method, but whatever you have. And then you want to make sure that you get sauce all over them. And of course have extra sauce for your guests if desired. But right now, those things will sit here for a couple of minutes, and they'll hold this nice glaze because the sauce would have adhered to the crispy skin. So you don't have a lot of waste. If you look at the pan, you don't see a lot of waste from the pepper sauce because it's all on the chicken. It's covered on every side, so you can be sure that every bite is just as delightful as the next. So there you have it, some delectable, spicy chicken drumsticks that won't bust the budget. Terrific flavor. What more can you ask for? If this doesn't get you MVP of your Super Bowl party, don't worry about it. Forget about it. The election's rigged. This is Dad Smackason from Smackason's Kitchen. See you next time. Go next year.